When I crawled out of the burning film set, I saw my husband Evan Liu shirtless, carrying another woman in his arms as he rushed out of the lounge. Reporters' cameras flashed wildly, capturing their so-called heroic escape from the fire. Meanwhile, I was on my knees, coughing violently from the smoke choking my lungs, and he didn't even spare me a single glance. The next day, he became the nation's praised movie king, and I became the washed-up actress trying to steal the spotlight. When everyone was waiting to laugh at me, I finally returned a phone call that had been sealed away for 3 years. "Dad, I'm coming home to take over the group. My name is Nina Kang." Smoke filled my throat as I knelt on the ground outside the lounge, coughing uncontrollably. 5 minutes earlier, all the lights on set had suddenly gone out. Then I smelled something burning. "Help!" I shouted into the walkie-talkie, but all I got back was static. Flames burst out of the props room next door, slithering toward me like red serpents. With shaking hands, I pulled out my phone and dialed a number I knew by heart. 3 rings. Someone picked up. "Evan." My voice cracked as I choked on smoke. "The set is on fire. I can't get out. Where are you?" "I'm abroad filming. I'm busy." Evan's impatient voice cut through the line. "Call the crew for something like this?" Then he hung up. I stared at my phone, stunned. The next second, I heard a woman's playful giggle coming from the lounge next door. The door, which I thought was locked, swung open. Evan Liu, shirtless, rushed out carrying a woman in his arms. Vivian Shen, the new third female lead of the crew. He held her so tightly, shielding her with his arm. Vivian was wrapped in Evan's jacket, her long hair messy. When she saw me, she blinked, then slowly, deliberately looked down at my dress, burnt at the hem by sparks. "Nina," she spoke softly, "what are you doing here?" Evan finally noticed me. His expression froze for a second before he frowned. "Move aside." Vivian's inhaled smoke. "I need to get her out." My mouth opened, but no sound came out. He ran past me, still hugging her tightly, without even looking back. That was when the flashes started. Reporters appeared out of nowhere, snapping pictures of them like mad. The next day's headlines read, "Movie King Evan Liu heroically carries co-star out of flames." The accompanying photo showed him shielding Vivian. In the corner of the frame was a blurry silhouette of me. The caption read, "Washed-up actress Nina Kang suspected of lingering at fire scene to gain attention." I sat in the hospital hallway staring at my phone screen. It felt like something had torn open in my chest, letting cold wind rush in. I opened my contacts and found that number I hadn't dialed in 3 years. My fingers typed, "Dad, I was wrong. I'm coming home to inherit the group. Send." I suffered minor burns and stayed in the hospital for observation. Evan didn't show up until the next afternoon. He came in holding a bowl of porridge and sat by my bed, slowly stirring it with a spoon. "Nina, does it hurt?" His voice was gentle, soft, like he used to sound when coaxing me. A nurse came in to change my dressing, seeing Evan feeding me. She smiled. "Mr. Liu, you're so good to your wife. What a loving couple." I stared at the fresh red scratch on his collarbone. "Is that for filming?" I asked. He froze for a second. It's for the character's look." "A character look that includes a tattoo on your chest?" I glanced at the small letter V ink right below his collarbone, the initial of Vivian. Evan fell silent. A few seconds later he said, "That's from a commercial shoot. The brand required it." I pushed the porridge away. "I'm full." He opened his mouth to say something, but I picked up my phone and sent a message to the lawyer I had already contacted. "Prepare the divorce papers." Evan frowned when he saw me typing nonstop. "Who are you texting?" I looked up at him. My tone comes strangely calm even to myself. "Mr. Liu," I said, "my affairs no longer require your concern." The bowl slipped from his hand and shattered against the floor. The day I was discharged, Evan came to pick me up. When I opened the car door, a thick, sweet vanilla perfume hit me. Vivian's favorite scent. On the passenger seat, a pink sticker was pasted neatly, "Reserved for Vivi." Vivian's nickname. I stood frozen, cold spreading through my entire body. Evan glanced at the sticker casually. "Oh, she put that on while playing around. I forgot to remove it." He sounded so relaxed, as if it was just a sticker, not a declaration that the seat beside him no longer belonged to me. "I'll have the driver pick me up," I said, turning to leave. Just then, his phone rang. Vivian's exclusive ringtone. It was a song she sang, a soundtrack Evan wrote for her movie. He answered immediately, his voice soft. "Vivi, what's wrong?" A trembling whimper came from the other side. "Evan, my apartment's water pipe burst. There's water everywhere. I'm scared." "Don't move, I'll be right there." He hung up and looked at me. "Nina, Vivian has an emergency." I'll drop you off first. No need. I said go. He drove off, leaving me in front of the hospital. At 3 p.m., it suddenly started pouring. I called the driver. He said Evan hadn't instructed him to come. So I stood in the rain for 20 minutes, drenched from head to toe. Finally, I called a cab myself. Inside the cab, my phone buzzed. A multimedia message from an unknown number. The photos nearly made me laugh. Evan and Vivian, shoulder to shoulder, matching couple tattoos on their collarbones. Another photo. Vivian wearing Evan's shirt, taking a selfie while making breakfast in his kitchen. Timestamp. Yesterday, 2:30 a.m. Caption. Nina, he didn't want you a long time ago. Be smart and get lost. I turned off my phone, then told the driver. Not the villa, to the Kang Group building. That night, I checked into a hotel near the group. The next morning, I went home to pack. When I opened the door, the house was empty. Evan wasn't home. I locked myself in the bedroom and started clearing out everything from our 7-year marriage. Wedding photos, matching mugs, letters he wrote me, one by one, into the box. At 1 a.m., I collapsed onto the carpet, exhausted. Half asleep, I felt someone climb into the bed and wrap their arms around me from behind, a familiar warmth. Evan buried his face into my neck, his voice hoarse. Baby, I was wrong. I shouldn't have left you there. Let's start over, okay? I smelled that sickly vanilla perfume on him, Vivian's scent. My heart twisted painfully. But I didn't cry. I pushed him away and sat up. I'm sleeping in the guest room. He grabbed my wrist tightly. Nina, are you still throwing a tantrum? I turned to look at him in the dark. Evan, I said slowly, we're getting a divorce? He stiffened. A few seconds later, he erupted, grabbed the water glass on the nightstand and hurled it at the wall. It shattered. Divorce? Over my dead body. Glass scattered across the floor. I'm telling you, Nina, without me, you're nothing. A washed-up actress who would want you. I stared at his twisted face, and suddenly, it felt absurd. 7 years. 7 years of love, and this is who he really was. Let's find out, I whispered, dragging my suitcase out the door. Behind me, he roared, you step out that door and never come back. I didn't look back. The door closed behind me, shutting out 7 years of my youth. The divorce papers were drafted by my lawyer. The terms were simple. I would leave with nothing except my freedom. When Evan saw the agreement, his eyes instantly reddened. Nina. He grabbed the handle of my suitcase. You hate me this much? You're willing to give up our home? I pulled out the printed photos and tossed them in his face. This home, I said, stopped being mine a long time ago. The photos scattered across the ground. Evan froze when he saw the matching tattoo photo. His face drained of color. She tricked me. She got me drunk. He stammered. Nina, you have to believe me, I only drank too much. Your excuses are cheap, Mr. Liu. I cut him off. He stared at me, then suddenly laughed. A cold, cruel laugh. Nina, you think you'll have a better life after divorcing me? He stepped toward me, his voice low and vicious. You're 30, not 20. Hollywood has no room for you. Who would want an aging, washed-up actress who can't even have children? I lifted my head and smiled. Evan, I said, do you know who your company's largest investor is? He paused. My father-in-law. He frowned. So what? My dad already, not my father-in-law. I interrupted. My father? His pupils shrank. The Kang Group, I said, is led by my father, the chairman, and 60% of your company's investment. I smiled. Comes from Kang Group's venture capital subsidiary, and now, I leaned closer. I'm pulling out. Evan's face went completely white. The divorce process went shockingly smooth. Evan didn't try to stop it. He was likely too busy digesting the fact that his wife, the woman he dismissed as worthless, was actually the heiress of a billion-dollar corporation. The day I went to the airport, I only brought one small suitcase. 7 years of marriage all fitting into a single carry-on. Just as I approached security, I heard frantic footsteps behind me. Nina. Evan ran toward me, hair messy, eyes bloodshot. He grabbed my wrist. You can't leave, we need to talk, please. Let's talk. I pulled my hand back. We're done. Evan, no. His voice cracked. I was wrong, Nina. I was so wrong. Just give me one more chance, just one. Suddenly, flashes exploded. Reporters appeared from nowhere, cameras clicking non-stop. Evan instinctively let go. I turned and walked into security check. Never looked back before boarding. My phone buzzed. Dozens of voice messages from Evan. I played the last one. He was sobbing. Nina, please, don't leave. I powered off my phone. When the plane took off, I watched the shrinking city below. 7 years, goodbye. The plane landed at a private airport, outside the gate. 2 dense rows of bodyguards stood waiting, at least 50 of them. The formation was intimidating. Dragging my suitcase, I stepped out and immediately saw my mother rushing toward me. Nina, my baby. Her makeup was ruined from crying as she hugged me tightly. How did you get this thin? How dare that bastard bully you? Behind her, my father stood with a face as dark as thunder. That boy from the Liu family, he said coldly. I'll make sure he disappears from the entertainment industry. My mother cupped my face. Tell Mom, did he ever hit you? Ever yell at you? I shook my head. My nose stung. It's okay now, Mom. My father placed a large hand on my shoulder. Come home, he said. The entire group, I kept it for you. From now on, you are the sole heir of the Kang Group. Bodyguards escorted us out. A stretched Lincoln limousine waited by the runway. I sat inside, watching the city blur past the windows. 7 years, and I had finally come home. 3 days after I returned home, my father hosted a grand banquet. Officially, it was to welcome me back. In reality, it was to announce to the entire upper circle, the Kang heiress has returned. I wore a black evening gown and entered the ballroom with my father's arm in mine. Spotlights shifted toward me. Everyone stared. Whispers rippled across the room. Is that Nina Kang, the former award-winning actress? I heard she just divorced. Evan Liu must be blind, abandoning a real heiress for some nobody. I kept my smile, though inside, everything felt numb, until the room suddenly fell silent. A man walked in from the far end of the hall. Tall, broad shoulders, wearing a sleek black suit. His features were sharp, sculpted almost unreal. As he walked, the crowd instinctively parted, giving him a clear path. He approached me directly, looked at me for 3 long seconds. Then the corner of his lips lifted. Nina, his voice was low, warm. You've grown up. I froze. My father chuckled and patted my shoulder. Remember him? This is Grant Zhang, the son of your Uncle Zhang. You two were promised to each other as kids. Grant Zhang. I remembered. The boy 5 years older than me who used to follow me around, saying, Nina, when you grow up, you'll marry me. He reached out and gently held my hand. So, he murmured, eyes locked on mine. Does what we said as kids still count? The entire room went silent, all eyes on our joined hands. My heart skipped a beat. After the banquet, on the ride home, my father's expression darkened. Evan called earlier. He said suddenly. My fingers tightened. What did he say? He begged you to come back. My father let out a cold laugh, said he was wrong, said he regrets everything. My mother gently took my hand. Sweetheart, tell Mom, how did he treat you all those years? I looked out the window at the passing night. 7 years. One scene after another. Every hurt, every moment I swallowed. My pride flooded back. In our first year of marriage, he told me to quit acting, that he'd take care of me. 2nd year, I had a miscarriage. He was on a film set out of state and said, we can try again next time. 3rd year, he stopped coming home. 4th year, I found Vivian's photos on his phone. 5th year, he forgot my birthday. 6th year, he told me I was getting old and lacked the charm young girls had. 7th year, my voice trembled. 7th year, he carried another woman out of a fire right in front of me. Silence filled the car. My mother hugged me tightly, trembling with tears. My father punched the car door so hard it rattled. This marriage, he growled, voice hoarse. Your father will get justice for you. The window reflected my face, pale, tired, but resolute. I wiped my tears. No, Dad, I'll handle it myself. 3 days later, Evan found me. No idea how he got the address of our estate. He knelt outside the iron gates, wearing the suit from our wedding, thin, hollowed, eyes red and swollen. He held a huge bouquet of roses and the wedding ring I had left on the coffee table. Nina. His voice was so hoarse it barely sounded human. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I stood inside the gate, looking at him through the cold iron bars, expressionless. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to you. He cried, please, marry me again. I swear I'll treat you right this time. I opened the gate and stepped out. Evan's eyes lit up instantly. He crawled forward on his knees. Nina. I took the ring box from him. His gaze filled with desperate hope. Then, I gently closed the lid. Evan Liu, I said, you don't deserve me. I let the box fall. It rolled into the mud. The hope in Evan's eyes shattered slowly, painfully. He collapsed, sobbing, shaking like a child. You're all I have left. Nina, you're all I have. I turned around, ready to walk back inside. Just then, a cool voice sounded behind me. What scene is this supposed to be? Grant Jong walked out from the estate, stopping beside me. He spared Evan a single, dismissive glance, then slipped an arm around my shoulders. So this, he said lightly, is the excellent husband you told me about? Evan froze. He looked up, eyes bloodshot. Who are you? Let go of Nina. Grant tilted his head. She's scared, he said calmly. You're upsetting my fiancé. Evan's voice broke. No, that's impossible. Nina is my wife. Grant held my hand and lifted it, revealing the silver ring on my fourth finger. A childish ring, the engagement ring he gave me when we were little. I had kept it all these years. Look carefully, Grant said softly. She was mine since she was 3. Evan's eyes widened in disbelief. He lunged forward to grab my hand, but Grant moved first. He caught Evan's wrist, twisted. Boom! A flawless over-shoulder throw sent Evan crashing onto the gravel. He curled up, groaning in pain. Grant stood over him, cold and sharp. Come near her again, he said, and I'll make sure you never recover your reputation. His voice was ice. The next day, my father took me to the headquarters of the Kang Group. The top-floor boardroom overlooked the entire city. The long table was filled with senior executives, average age well over 50. When I entered, everyone stood. Chairwoman Kang, they greeted in unison. My father pressed my shoulder lightly, guiding me to the main seat. A stack of documents was slid before me. Stock transfer agreements. Sign it, my father said. You'll become the sole heir of the Kang Group. I picked up the pen. My hand trembled slightly, but I signed. Nina Kang. 2 simple words that changed everything. Applause erupted across the room. Grant sat beside me and leaned in slightly. Starting today, he murmured, you're officially the Queen of Capital. My first order of business was simple. I opened another file. Freeze all investments into Starrise Entertainment, I said, effective immediately. My father laughed approvingly. Let him taste the consequences of betraying my daughter. Executives quickly bowed their heads, scribbling orders. 10 minutes later, the instructions were sent out, and Evan's company was about to blow up. Starrise Entertainment boardroom. Evan was in the middle of a planning meeting for his new film. The CFO burst in, face pale. Mr. Liu. Kang Group. They pulled out. Evan's pen clattered to the floor. What? Notification just arrived. All investment funds frozen, future funds cut off. The conference room exploded in chaos. What about our film? It already started filming. The commercial contracts, if we breach, will owe millions. Mr. Liu. What on earth have you done? Evan sat motionless, color draining from his face. His phone rang. Vivian, he answered. She was sobbing. Evan. Online, everyone's saying, Nina is the heiress of the Kang Group. Is it true? Evan's throat tightened. She's the chairman's daughter? Vivian's voice shook. Then we're finished. She hung up. Evan looked at the furious faces around the table, and he finally understood one thing. He hadn't just lost Nina. He had lost the world that came with her. My father arranged for me to temporarily stay at the Jong family estate. Grant will take care of you, he said. It's safer than living alone. The Jong mansion sat halfway up the mountainside. My assigned room was on the 2nd floor. When I opened the door, I froze. The room was filled with framed photos of me when I was 8, blowing out birthday candles. 10, crying after falling off a bicycle. 12, dancing on stage, each one carefully preserved. Grant leaned against the doorframe. I've kept this room for 10 years. He walked in and helped me unpack like it was natural. Don't stay in someone else's home again, he said, quietly folding my clothes. I stood behind him. We don't exactly have that kind of relationship. He paused, then turned, slowly walking toward me. You used to call me your husband every day when you were little, he said with a faint smile. My face burned. I stepped back instinctively, only to trip over the carpet. He caught me easily. Can't even stand properly? He said near my ear. My hands pressed against his chest and I could feel his heartbeat. Fast, steady, warm. Evan, meanwhile, had begun desperately searching for me. He called my old number. No answer. He went to the Kang Group building. Security blocked him. He waited outside my parents' neighborhood. Patrol cars escorted him away. Every path to me was sealed. On the 3rd day, Vivian posted a cryptic message online. No names, but everyone understood. Some people rely on their family's money to steal other people's boyfriends. Shameless. A selfie accompanied it, her eyes red as if crying. The comments exploded. Is she talking about Nina? Wow. The actress divorced and immediately found a rich guy? Typical women always climb higher when they can. I looked at my phone and smiled. My legal team moved quickly. 1 hour later, Vivian received a legal notice. 2 hours later, she deleted the post. 3 hours later, she messaged me from a burner account. Nina, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Please don't ruin me. Please. I didn't reply. But soon after, the internet uncovered her fake education, plastic surgery photos, rumors of stealing other actresses' roles. She finally learned fear. Monday, my first board meeting as chairwoman, several senior directors looked displeased. Chairwoman Kang, said a man with graying hair, as someone who was an actress. You may not yet be familiar with corporate management. I suggest you first spend some time learning. I cut him off. Director Wang, the South City project you oversaw last year lost 30%, correct? His face immediately darkened. I turned on the projector. The screen displayed densely packed charts and data. These are review reports I compiled this past week covering all major projects from the past 5 years. I said, of the 7 projects you supervise, 5 were losses. 1 barely broke even. The room went silent. I clicked the next slide. These, I said, are the 3 startup ventures I managed during my time abroad. 2 were acquired. 1 currently has a valuation of $1 billion. I set the folder in the center of the table. Now, I asked calmly, does anyone here still believe I don't understand management? No one spoke. Grant, seated beside me, added coldly, everything she says will be carried out. No exceptions. That afternoon, I replaced 3 executives who had been causing trouble for years, including Director Wang. Word spread fast. The Kang Group's stock price hit the limit up. The media hailed me the new queen of capital. Evan's film was shut down. Investors withdrew. The production ran out of money. Brands terminated their endorsements, one after another. Liquidated damages piled up like snow. His agent stormed into the office and slammed a stack of documents onto Evan's desk. Evan Liu, do you even understand who you've offended? The Kang Group, your ex-wife's family. Evan sat slumped in his chair, motionless. On his desk lay that day's newspaper, front page. A photo of me in the boardroom, wearing a black suit, eyes calm and sharp. Headline: Heiress Nina Kang steps into power, new era of capital begins. She used to. Evan stared at the photo, voice cracking. She used to belong only to me. His agent tugged at his hair in frustration. Talking about the past won't save you. Go apologize. Beg for forgiveness. Evan laughed. A hollow, broken laugh. She won't forgive me, he murmured. The way she looks at me now. It's like I'm a stranger. That night, Evan sat alone in his apartment. The living room looked like a wreck, things smashed everywhere. He smoked cigarette after cigarette. His phone screen lit up with a live video of me from a press conference. I was smiling confidently at the camera. Evan's eyes reddened as he watched. He reached out to touch my face on the screen, but his fingers met only cold glass. Meanwhile, I received an invitation to an international film festival. Chairwoman Kang, my secretary, asked, will you be attending? I thought for a moment. Yes, I wanted the world to know. Nina Kang is back. Not as an actress, but as the chairwoman of the Kang Group. The red carpet night, I wore a long red gown. Grant walked beside me in a black suit, tall and elegant. Flashes erupted instantly. Reporters swarmed forward. Ms. Kang, is it true you're officially divorced? I smiled. My private life is unimportant. Another reporter pushed a microphone toward Grant. This gentleman is. Grant didn't wait for me to answer. He slipped an arm around my waist. My fiancé, he said clearly, eyes fixed on the cameras. The entire crowd gasped. Photos spread across the internet instantly. Top trending 1. Former actress Nina Kang engaged to mysterious billionaire. Top trending 2. Ex-husband Evan Liu reportedly breaks down. And Evan really did break down. He was hiding in a tiny rented apartment when he saw the news. The photo of Grant holding me close, me smiling against his shoulder. Evan stared at it for 10 full minutes. Then he suddenly bolted outside. He ran to the Kang Group headquarters. Security refused him entry. He ran to the Zhang family estate and knelt outside the gates for an entire afternoon, until finally my car pulled out. He staggered forward and fell to his knees in front of the car, holding the wedding ring up high. Nina. His voice was guttural. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Take my life if you want, just please forgive me. I stepped out of the car, standing in front of him calmly. Evan Liu, I said quietly, stay away from me. He grabbed my pant leg like a dying man. I'm not leaving, not unless you forgive me, please, please. Grant got out of the car. His voice was ice. Let go. Evan ignored him, staring only at me. Please, Nina. Just one more chance. Security guards rushed over and dragged him away. He screamed, "You're all I have left, Nina. You're all I have." His voice faded as he was pulled farther and farther away. I got back into the car. Grant gently wrapped his hand around mine. "You okay?" I nodded, "Yeah." In the rearview mirror, Evan knelt in the middle of the road, soaked in tears. Like an abandoned stray, Vivian Shen had been completely blacklisted. Brands terminated her contracts. Her drama replaced her overnight. Her social media accounts were all shut down. She hid in a tiny rental apartment, too afraid to go outside. An Uber Eats driver recognized her once and spat at her. Homewrecker. Neighbors pointed at her in the hallway. "That's the girl who stole someone's husband." Her parents called once only to shout, "We don't have a daughter like you." Such disgrace. Vivian had nothing left, except madness. She found a knife, hid it in her bag, and went to Evan's apartment. She knocked. Evan opened the door, saw her, and immediately wanted to shut it. She blocked it with her foot. "Evan." Vivian's tears streamed down. "I have no one left, only you." Evan's voice turned ice cold. "Get out. We were together." She screamed, hysterical. "You held me, you kissed me, you said you liked me." "That was a lie," Evan said, each word stabbing like a knife. "I only used you to piss Nina off." Vivian froze. Then she began laughing so hard it twisted into a sob. "Fine, fine. You all used me. All of you." She suddenly pulled the knife from her bag. Evan's face drained of blood. "What are you doing? I'll make all of you regret it." She screamed, "I'll make sure you never forget me." But she never got the chance. Police burst in and tackled her to the ground. "Vivian Shen, you are under arrest for attempted assault, defamation, and invasion of privacy." The cuffs clicked around her wrists. She was dragged away, still laughing, then crying. 3 days later, I received an email. No words, just a picture. A photo of my childhood home, with the door plate circled in red. Second email. A map of my commute from yesterday. Third email. A photo of my parents shopping, message attached. "You'll regret this." Grant saw the emails. His expression turned grim. "She has a follower helping her," he said. "This won't be the last threat." Within an hour, he arranged 20 bodyguards to guard me, to guard my parents, to guard every corner of the estate. He also mobilized the tech division to trace the emails. 1 week later, police arrested a man in a nearby city. A crazed fan of Vivian, he admitted sending the emails. "I just wanted to scare her. Vivian is innocent." No one believed him. Court began quickly. Vivian faced multiple charges. 5 years in prison. Her fanatic follower received 2. At the hearing, Vivian saw me and suddenly screamed, "Nina Kang, why won't you just die?" Bailiffs pinned her down. I looked at her calmly. "You're not worth my death." She froze, then collapsed in her seat like a deflated doll. As she was taken away, she muttered, "I just wanted someone to love me." But people who try to gain love by hurting others never end up loved. Evan completely fell apart. All endorsements gone, all roles canceled, all variety shows erased him. His agency sued him for breach of contract. He sold his house, sold his car, sold everything of value, and still owed money. He ended up moving into a damp, windowless basement unit, barely 10 square meters. He worked as a delivery driver, barely earning enough to survive. He quit drinking, but also stopped smiling. Every night after work, he watched TV, watched my business conferences, watched my charity galas, watched me and Grant walk red carpets together, watched me shine. One day, while delivering packages, he saw me and Grant at a mall. We were holding hands, laughing. He froze behind a pillar, watching me smile, a smile he had never given me, watching Grant brush hair from my cheek, watching us walk away. He slid to the ground and cried silently. Later that night, he found old photos. One by one he burned them. When he got to the last one, our wedding photo, he stared for a long time, then gently placed it into the fire. The flame swallowed the image, swallowed his last piece of hope. He opened his journal and wrote, "I love you," too late, then closed it, and slept. 5 years into our marriage, I finally became pregnant. Grant was in a meeting when he received the news. He froze, then rushed out of the conference room, nearly knocking over his chair. He reached me, grabbed me into his arms, and his eyes turned red. "Is it real?" he asked, voice trembling. I nodded, yes. He knelt down and gently kissed my stomach. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for giving me a family." I stroked his hair, smiling softly. "Dummy." When our baby was born, Grant cried harder than anyone. It was a girl. He held her with shaking hands. "She looks like you." I laughed. the day we left the hospital. I posted on social media a picture of our daughter's tiny hand and a family photo of the three of us. Caption: "Life is long, happiness will come." The sunlight in the picture was warm. I leaned on Grant's shoulder. He held our daughter. We were all smiling with genuine peace far away. In a dingy internet cafe, Evan looked at the post on a public computer. He stared for a long time, then closed the page and went back to sorting packages. A cold wind swept through outside, but he didn't turn back because some roads, once taken wrong, there's no going back, and some people, once lost, they're gone forever. Luckily, I had chosen the right road and found the right person. Our wedding was set for 3 months later. Somehow, Evan found out. He went to my parents' house and kneeled in front of the gate for an entire day, begging to see me. My father stepped outside and saw him. His expression was darker than a storm. "Leave," my father said. Just one word, cold, final. Evan lowered his head and kowtowed on the pavement. "Uncle, please let me see Nina. Just once, just once." "You have no right to call her that," my father said icily. "Get out. Don't dirty our ground." But Evan didn't leave. He stayed kneeling until his knees bled, still begging. My mother eventually walked out and saw him. She sighed. "Evan," she said gently, "for the first and last time, let her go. Nina is happier without you. Don't disturb her anymore." Evan froze. Then he broke down crying like a child. But no mother came to comfort him this time. When security finally dragged him away, he kept murmuring, "Nina, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry." Vivian in prison. Her mind deteriorated quickly. The prison arranged psychological treatment, but nothing helped. She muttered to walls, claiming she was a star, saying Evan loved her, rambling about red carpets and cameras. Other inmates yelled at her. "Shut up, crazy." She just laughed. "You're jealous. I'm the movie king's woman." But later, she grew eerily silent, sitting on the edge of her bed all day, staring at the sliver of light through the tiny window. One day, a psychologist asked her, "Do you regret what you did?" Vivian was quiet for a long time, then whispered, "Yes. But regret, what does it change? She won everything. I lost everything." The doctor sighed. "If you had never touched another woman's marriage, I didn't." She suddenly screamed. "He came to me. Evan came to me." Then she collapsed, hugging her knees, crying, "I just wanted to be loved." But the path she chose never leads to love. The night before the wedding, I was staying at the Jong estate. Grant knocked on my door. I was already in my pajamas, still awake. He asked softly, a little nervous, I admitted. He stepped inside and wrapped his arms around me. "What's there to be afraid of?" His voice was gentle. "I'm here." I leaned into him, breathing in his faint cedar scent. "Grant," I whispered, "will you always be good to me?" He lifted my chin. His eyes were deep, intense. "Nina," he said, "I'm the one who's scared." I blinked. "Scared of what?" He pulled me into a tighter embrace. "I'm scared you'll run away. I'm scared you'll regret it. I'm scared you'll look back. I'm scared I'm not enough for you." I kissed his jaw softly. "I'm not going anywhere. I finally found the right person." His breath hitched, his gaze darkened. He kissed me deeply, desperately, like he'd been holding himself back for years. "I love you," he whispered against my ear, "more than you can imagine." I held him close. "I love you too." We fell asleep in each other's arms. We didn't do anything more, but I had never felt safer. The wedding, held at a castle. I wore a custom gown and took my father's arm as we walked the aisle. Grant stood at the end in a white suit, looking like he stepped out of a fairy tale. When he saw me, his eyes lit up like stars. Guests rose to their feet, applauding. But someone noticed a lone figure at the castle gate, Evan, wearing his old wedding suit, the one from 7 years before. But now it hung loosely on his too-thin frame. He didn't step inside, just stood far away, watching me walk to another man, watching me smile, watching me happy. Tears streamed down his face, but he made no sound, just watched, as if watching a dream he could never return to. "The vows?" the priest asked. "Grant Jong, do you take Nina Kang to be your lawfully wedded wife?" Grant looked at me and said slowly, "I do, Nina Kang." "Do you take Grant Jong to be your lawfully wedded husband?" I smiled. "I do." Our hands trembled slightly as we exchanged rings. Grant leaned in and kissed me deeply. The guests erupted in applause. Fireworks exploded across the sky. Rose petals floated down at the gate. Evan dropped to his knees. His voice cracked. "She really doesn't belong to me anymore." Security politely escorted him away. He turned once, looked at the castle one last time, then disappeared into the crowd, like he never existed. After the wedding, the King and Jong groups held a joint press conference, announced the official merger. Grant and I became co-CEOs. Stocks skyrocketed 50% in a day. Media called us the power couple of the century. That night, Grant wrapped an arm around my waist. Mrs. Jong, he said playfully, where do you want to go for our honeymoon? I laughed. Anywhere is fine. Then we'll travel the world, he said. I want everyone to know you're my wife. I kissed him again. Paparazzi caught the photo. Next day's headlines: newlyweds share sweet kiss, jealousy levels max. And Evan, he was working at a convenience store when he saw the magazine cover. Our picture, me smiling, Grant holding me close. He stared for a long time, then slowly placed the magazine in the trash and got back to stocking shelves. 3 years later, he still lived in that basement, still delivering packages, still surviving day by day. He no longer smoked, no longer drank, but he also never smiled. Every night, he watched old videos, our wedding video, our honeymoon photos, my past films, my business speeches, and cried. One day, while delivering, he saw me again. Grant was pushing our daughter's stroller. I was holding a shopping bag, laughing. Evan hid behind a pillar, watching me live the life he destroyed, watching me happy. He crouched down and cried silently. Later, he burned the last photo of us and wrote in his journal, if only I had cherished you, but too late. 5 years later, I had our second child, a boy. Grant held our children like they were treasures. We built our empire together, traveled together, ate dinner with our kids every night. We lived the life I once thought I'd never have, warm, safe, loved. One evening, I looked at Grant and whispered, I'm glad it was you. He kissed my forehead. It was always going to be me. Final scene, somewhere far away. Evan walked alone on a snowy street. No scarf, no gloves, no warmth. Snowflakes drifted down, melting on his eyelashes. He paused at a crosswalk and looked up at the sky. For a moment, he smiled, just a little, a sad, quiet smile. A smile of someone who finally accepted that the story had ended, and he had written the ending himself. He whispered into the cold air, Nina, I'm sorry. But the wind carried the words away, because apologies given too late don't reach anyone. Life is long. Luckily, I chose the right path and found the right person. Thank you for finishing today's story. Please share your thoughts in the comments section if you enjoyed the story. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. There are more amazing stories waiting for you to experience with me. See you tomorrow.